Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. Yes, so my people, they say God no go fit wear you crown. Then nobody go come comot the crown for your head, come carry plastic plate cover you. Hey, it cannot happen like that. Our baby girl Olori Naomi is rejoicing. The Ooni of Ife is rejoicing. The palace is rejoicing. Everybody's rejoicing. Come and see dance. Come and see celebration. What happened? What happened? The Kabiyesi announced that the last item for the spiritual item for Queen Naomi's full moon ritual has been recovered, has been traced. I love pidgin English. Della right, it's not a small thing, no. You know that these people, that long list that they gave to Olori Naomi, they gave for Olori Naomi's ritual, they deliberately gave that list because they wanted Naomi to fail. They wanted Kabiyesi to fail. They did it because they thought that there is no way. Now, they did it because there is no way. They already know that there is no way. Just no way that, Kabiyesi was going to find those items. Do you know what it means to look for the earthly upper Orimaya? I know you know what it means. That's a lot. That is something that, it's almost impossible. They added it in that list. They added it in that list. They have gotten everything. They said even the last item has been found. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Adela Ram. I bring you fresh and spicy just from the house, Estelle and the Reyes. My Dela right, my own people. Dela right, my super people. If I no thank una waiting again. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, so they said the final item required to complete Queen Naomi's full moon ritual had still, had been found, okay? Right now, it has been found. Do you remember last week where Kabiyesi had come out to say the final item required to complete Queen Naomi's full moon ritual had still not been found? That was last week. And for those who understood the magnitude of spiritual alignment, they knew without that item, the ritual could not process. Without the ritual, Queen Naomi's restoration would remain suspended, half fulfilled, incomplete, and those who oppose her return, knew this, okay? Some of the wives rejoiced in sacred wearing veils of pity in public, but laughing behind closed doors. For them, that last missing item was their spiritual victory. It was the one thing they believed Queen Naomi would never find. They thought the gods had sealed her fate. They celebrated prematurely. But deep in the ancestral shrine of Ile-Ife, the Yanifas and chosen diviners were receiving a different signs. They were going from one place to the other. They knew they were going to find it, but it was not yet time. The spiritual part had not closed, only canceled, and with the full moon approaching, they only summoned them again. The task was simple in word, but movement very strenuous, like it was cumbersome for them to have entered that groove again, the sacred groove, not just to search, but to surrender, to let the ancestors reveal what the eyes of men could not find, that it was, very, very difficult, but they had to go. They said the journey into the groove is not one for the faint-hearted. It requires purity, physical, mental, and spiritual, okay? For 3 days before entry, the Yanifas and, other diviners fasted from food and water, no salt, no oil, no human contact. They bathed in, river water mixed with 7 types of herbs, adon and dogs, okay? They slept on bare mat with only ancestral chant for comfort. When the appointed time came, they walked barefoot, wrapped in white clothes, a face is marked with sacred chalk entering the groove in silence. The wind did not blow, even nature held its breath. Inside the groove, they were not allowed to speak to each other. Each diviner walked alone, guided only by the spirit and their own spiritual compass. They saw illusions, some were shown false path, others fell to their knees in exhaustion. One of the younger diviner reportedly collapsed under a tree after being spiritually blocked by a force she couldn't name. The land was resisting forces had been released long ago to bury this final item, to hide it from even the purest eyes. It took 5 hours before the wind shifted. One of the senior priestesses, that is Yanifa, the eldest among them, and known for her prophetic gift, began to shake. Her eyes rolled back, and she began to hum an ancient chant that, hadn't been heard in the group for over a century. As she chanted, the earth beneath her cracked slightly, not violently, but just enough to release a small puff of white sand. The other rushed towards her. She fell to her knee, dug with her bare hands, and pulled out a small clay pot, wrapped in faded red and black cloth sealed with cowrie shell. It was the item, the final piece, the one thing needed to complete Queen Naomi's reinstatement ritual. Tears fell from their eyes, but they didn't cry from joy alone. It was relief, exhaustion, a confirmation that their suffering had not been in vain. They wrapped the item in white cloth, tied it with a strip from the elders Iyanifa's waist wrapper, and began the slow, revered walk of the groove, out of the groove. No words were spoken, no songs were sung, only the sound of their foot and the heartbeat of the land guided them home. Right, are you guys hearing what I am hearing? It's not a small something, no. By the time they returned to the palace, the air had changed. Birds flew in perfect formation above the palace dome. The palace guard who had been, stationed outside the gate looked up in awe. They had felt the energy before seeing it. What spread before the women even reached the inner courtyard. Inside the palace, the Ooni of Ife was waiting, dressed in full ceremonial attire. He stood by the ancestral altar, surrounded by sacred fires and items of worship. When he saw the item, his eyes closed. Slowly, he dropped to, sit down, and he now offered chant that only the royal lineage understands. He raised the item high and proclaimed, let the land open, let the heavens align, let, her place be restored. Yes, sir, this is what is happening. They said, in fact, drums began to beat across the palace walls, not from, order, but from instinct, okay? The palace drummers overcame with joy, began a rhythm of celebration, bells rang, incense smoke lifted, the sound of joy echoed across Ile-Ife like a spiritual alarm. That the item that is needed for the final full moon ritual has been found. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. In fact, I am so happy just knowing this. Because at some point I was thinking that full moon might not happen. Hi, God. Oh. This is what we are hearing. If the information is correct, I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget, these are all alleged rumors, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.